Vodcast Smodcast.
There you go.
I like it. That's what's gonna be the thing from here on out, I think. So let me get the screen share up and going. There we go. Pride Rules Podcast, brought to you by nobody. There we go. There we go. Brought to you by Keep It Coming. We got sponsors, I promise you folks. There we are. 80K Fightwear. It's like grappling and lotion. I'm going to make that a thing. I'm going to keep going until it is. It's gorgeous. 80kfightwear.com. Black Hole Jiu-Jitsu, blackholejujitsu.net, as well as Black Hole Jiu-Jitsu New Paltz. We're trying to push that spot as well. And, of course, the inimitable Madama Jiu-Jitsu at madamajj.com. There we are. My co-host, as always, Mr. Tommy D. How are you today, sir?
What is up, everybody? I am coming to you live from the Candlewood Suite Studios here in beautiful Sterling, Virginia. It is thundering like a bastard out there right now. Holy shit.
It's raining up here, too, and it's weird. This climate change is not real, though. I just want to say that for all the
This summer sucks here, honestly. Last year, well, no, but I mean, in Jersey, it was hot as shit. You know, my wife was telling me, but here, it was like, it was hot, but it wasn't really. And then it would rain for like an hour, and then the sun would come back out, and it wasn't the same summer it was last year. I'm hoping it's not going to like get really cold in these next couple months. I'm hoping for another mild winter out here.
Now that you said that, it's not going to happen. I'm just going to tell you that right now. You know,
I get out to my truck at 6 o'clock in the morning, and turkey's done. My nipples are like, doink.
Yeah, no, it's been chilly, bro. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you know how they say, I'll walk out to my car at the end of the day. I can smell that it's in a weird way, like it's cool. Mm-hmm. And it's almost, you know what it feels like? It feels like almost the beginning of football weather. I always remember.
Well, it is the beginning of football. It is the beginning of football.
You know, yeah, because hey, you know how we know it's the beginning of football? There's Cowboys getting suspended for that. That's every. We might not be eye to eye a lot on a lot of things for football, you and I, but we can both agree.
Fuck the Cowboys.
The Cowboys, yeah, absolutely. So, but before delving too much into that, I'll let Fury take care of that because I know Tim Spoonie's got a lot to say if he hasn't hung himself. After the events of today, but let's get right into it. This Paulie Malignaggi business, where he seems like a jilted ex, and I think that's a slight to some of the exes I've had that have been actually rock solid and taken separation from me pretty well, maybe disconcertingly well, I should say, looking back, like they really didn't kill him. But what the hell is up with this, man? What's your take on it?
All right, bro. You know this better than anybody. The guy's an alpha male. He was a champion.
Yeah.
He was one of the best boxers at the time. I mean, he wasn't Floyd level, but
he's world champion still is no joke. Just right. 2-time. Okay. More times than me.
But you got to remember something. He has a brand. Since he retired in March, mm-hmm. he has a podcast through CBS Sports and Podcast One.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also he was being brought on as an analyst for this.
Yeah, Showtime, right there.
So these are his jobs that he got because of who he is. Not mm-hmm. to mention he's an alpha male. You know what
mm-hmm.
I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's a guinea. We all try to be alpha males. We don't like anything that goes against us. So now
you guys do not fuck around. I just want to say that.
So now he gets this opportunity after, he was saying that the fight is a joke, which I'm sorry, it still is a fucking joke. It's still a fucking joke. I don't think Conor's going to win. Anyway.
Yeah.
So now he gets this opportunity to go.
Oh, you never know, bro.
Oh,
you never know.
Yeah, I know. I never know if I'm going to walk out and get hit by a fucking bus in the morning either. I ain't going to put $100 on it. But anyway.
I'd watch it on pay-per-view, though, because I think you'd fuck the bus up. I think you give a bus. But that's just
he's giving him the business.
I'm a fan. Man. He is working that tire axle like he owes him money. Holy shit! Anyway,
so now he gets this opportunity to go into work with McGregor's camp. Now you're looking at what McGregor's doing in camp. He brings in Ortiz as the referee, so he can learn the actual in-ring rules of what he can do and what he can't do and what he can get away with and things like that.
Seriously.
So Paulie thinks he's going in there to help this fucking guy. So Conor's management is snapping photos. They're just certain photos of Paulie getting worked over, right? So now they're putting those out on the internet.
I just got to interrupt real quick. Like the face you're getting, the reason I'm laughing is because the face you have is like when somebody's describing the like the Kennedy assassination. You're just like, they're snapping photos. And I'm just, reminded me of Joe Rogan talking about, one bullet, man. Come on, that's crazy. Anyway, sorry. After you.
which that's one of those things that in a camp you don't do.
No.
You don't talk about what goes on inside the camp to social media. You don't take photos. Remember when everybody thought Conor got knocked out in training camp before Alvarez?
Tell like your life partner, whoever it is, what goes on in camp stays in the fucking sanctum of your working hard. Like even like you know this. Even talking about I tapped him in a jiu-jitsu gym, which is not even as formal as a fight camp. I still look down on that. Like if you say that publicly in a place where it's going to get back to it, you know what I mean? Don't disclose that.
To quote Josh, when he saw somebody celebrating in the school, act like you've been there, bro.
100%.
Act like you've been there.
100%. And like it could happen to you 2 seconds later.
Exactly. Yeah. So what I think with this whole bullshit is they brought Malinalgi in there to try and embarrass him because of what he was saying before. Okay. Does he have a legitimate gripe? Yes. Because these pictures hurt his brand. I'm sure he's not going to be doing the analyst job now.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he's going to be out of the job there. I mean, who are they going to bring in to replace him? I think it should be Mauro Ranallo. He should have been in there to begin with.
Mauro's he's the tits.
I like Brendan Schaub's cool, but Mauro could do that job by himself.
He do that job on his head too, by the way, like standing on his head backwards, smoking fucking 30 J's. Like
because
a weed.
He's with Showtime. He calls Showtime Boxing.
Yeah. He's with everybody though.
He's called MMA.
Good Lord, Mauro Ranallo has about fucking more jobs than a Jamaican. Craziness.
But he knows his shit. So now Paulie's out of a job with that. So now these pictures are floating around. Conor's camp saying one thing, Paulie's saying another thing. I think now it's Paulie trying to set himself up a fight with Conor after this Mayweather fight. You know why? Because Paulie never made the money that either of these two fighters are making for one fucking night of fights. One night. I was sitting there thinking about this today. Okay? Conor McGregor's going to get $100 million for one night. That's like 3 seasons for an NFL football player that's being pretty high paid.
And like 3 good seasons.
2.5 seasons. Yeah.
And that's like on your second contract where you've already had years of production to merit it. Right? Like that's where running that's Le'Veon Bell money. That's what he's trying to get paid. You feel me? Like he's trying to get $30 million a year. Gee, that's great. Or 20-something million a year. That's baller.
Yeah.
Status right there.
Yeah.
For one year.
So I think Paulie wants to get his piece of the pie, and he also feels slighted. Like you asked me to come and help you. I'm offering my services to you. And you're being a piece of shit about it. So I think he's going about it the wrong way because it does sound like he's bitching, but he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. But I think he got hoodwinked. Like I'm with you on that because I feel like he came in with the assumption that he was going to help somebody put in work. You're semi a fan of Schaub. You're giving Schaub another chance. Thank you. But on the Big Brown Breakdown, shout out to Schaub. he had him a couple of times, and from what it sounded like there, he's like, yeah, I'm going to, put in work. I got to go in 1 week, and then I'm going to fly back to the East Coast to do the Andre Ward fight as an analyst, and then he was going to fly back, and then it seemed like the whole thing seemed to be smelling of fuckery, though, because this poor bastard, I feel like he went in to give him honest work. Not for nothing, he also went in to get some shine. It would help his brand, like you said. It would help his analysis. In any dead space, wouldn't I kill to be able to say, well, during my time in Conor's camp, blah, 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 during any sort of the fight breakdown.
Or if Conor does win, if Conor does win, he could say, well, I helped him in his camp. I mean,
or I saw that, whatever he did, even if it's some wild business. To win, like, oh yeah, we worked on that. Imagine the things you could pull out with if he used it the right way. I think he went in pure of heart, or at least with his intentions, with any self-serving intentions, out in the open. Like, hey, I'll get some of the shine. It'll rub off. This will help me. Like you said, he's got the podcast. Anything to do with the Conor brand is going to help you from a marketing sense. So I think he went in with that intention. However, I think Conor and Conor's camp brought him in to beat the shit out of him. Flat out.
But truthfully, we don't even know if that really if he beat the shit out of him.
But right now, perception is reality.
Well, exactly.
So and you know what? Honestly, even this could be preferable to actually beating the shit out of him and not having any proof of it. You know what I mean? If a tree falls in the woods, does it fucking make a sound if nobody's there to hear it? At this point, he could have beat the shit out of him, had nothing of proof, and Paulie's brand would have lived on, potentially. He would have still kept the analysis role. They might keep him in some small role. Showtime does love him, and CBS and Showtime are married, so anything, via CBS, Showtime's going to try to push. I get it. Okay. But in this way, it's even preferable to actually have him beaten him up. If he did, fine. If he didn't, it still looks like it. And he's hurting this guy in a very long-lasting way. This could have been a J-shaped turn for Paulie career-wise. Could have turned the corner. Could have been one of those guys that makes an even better career after the fight game. If he had leveraged this the right way. When I heard he made it into Conor's camp, I was like, oh, this could be huge for Paulie. If he does this the right way, if he's got somebody in his ear, fuck it. If he listens to Shaw, for God's sakes, because if one thing that guy knows how to do is self-promote, and turn, 15 cents into fucking $200, this would be great for Paulie. But this is the absolute worst possible outcome to the whole situation, because not only is the perception there, it's turned into enough of reality where I think it's absolutely taking a shit on this poor bastard's career. He looks terrible. The media is starting to kind of like, okay, bro, calm down. He's losing traction for any potential podcast like that he could turn around to do this. You know what I mean? Like this just blew up in this poor bastard's face. Literally.
And I think it would have been this way no matter what. I think it would have been this way no matter what. They brought him in there with the intention to try and destroy the guy's career because he was just being honest.
Yeah, because he was one of the most vocal people prior to the thing getting signed even. He was trying to drum up a fight before. I think that's what you're referencing to. He was trying to be like, hey, I'll fight him. I'll show him what's up. He doesn't have to fight. Well,
now I think he's really doing it.
But
now I think he's willing to come out of retirement to do it.
Of course, but dude, anybody would. All right? Julio Cesar Chavez would come out of fucking
That all
retirement.
depends.
Okay, get out of here.
If Mayweather embarrasses Conor for 12 rounds, there's no money in the fight with Paulie, really.
Oh no, but there still is though, because it's weird in a weird way.
Not this money though.
No, of course not this money, but still more than whatever Paulie's made. I think for one evening of work, it would still get Conor paid, and then Conor could spin the narrative like, listen, okay, I tried getting to the top of Space Mountain, for a little Ric Flair reference. I tried riding Space Mountain, and that motherfucker bucked me off. Trying to face the best in the world or the best of all time. You could feasibly argue 49-0, defensive boxer, bad matchup. Paulie would give him you could spin it to be, he'll give me a different look. He's not as good as Mayweather, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, but you know what? Do you really think Paulie's been training?
No, we both know as like, you know, enthusiasts in this game. If he beat him up, he beat up that dude that comes back after a layoff. You know, I'm not. This is not me. Tooting my own horn. But if a purple belt or a brown belt comes off after like what, an 18-month layoff, having done no training, and I've been training, I might get in some work on that gentleman or those gentlemen, right? You would too, right? But am I going to then say, yeah, that's what my level of fighting is now?
Right.
Of course not. We're going to know that, hey, once this guy, you know, he's not even reached his final form yet. Like, once he gets the rust off and he takes off the extra pounds, you know, he starts getting into legitimate fight shape, he's going to beat the shit out of me.
This was just a smear campaign. That's all it was a smear campaign.
Assassination of this guy's character and career prospects.
But you know what? That just tells you the type of people that are in Conor's fucking camp. I mean, you look at Dylan Dennis, that tells you enough.
Well, that's just Artem is not my favorite guy either. You know, Kavanaugh, you don't talk the best coach in the world.
Let me tell you something. You don't talk shit with a fucking 12-13 fucking record. You don't talk shit.
You can't.
You can't say a fucking word. Let's put it this way. The first guy that fought Kimbo in professional fighting in Elite XC was 10-10.
And it was specifically brought in to get Kimbo that sweet-ass win, that sweet-ass victory, I remember.
The failed fucking spinning back fist that he threw.
Yeah, that could have been telegraphed.
So Artem, you're pretty much on that fucking guy's level. So please shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel bad. There's no good way that this turns out for Paulie.
No, you know, not unless he fights Conor and beats him
somehow.
But
you know
what? I don't want to fucking see that, because if you're gonna do that,
maybe that's the only way I could see something.
You know what it is, because if he's gonna fucking do that, if Conor's gonna take another boxing fight, then fucking just get rid of the UFC belt. Stop saying you're a fucking UFC fighter, and then just do boxing. Because that's what Paulie's gonna be pushing for now. Because you know that
it's only gonna be. I'm telling you, I've been pretty adamant about this. I know they're trying to feed us a sack of goods that he's going to come back and fight, you know, everybody.
But they just posted something today on Bleacher Report. He might not come back because he's afraid of head injury.
Well, of course. I would be too. And I'd have 100 million reasons to be like, no.
Bullshit. Well, I'm going to tell you exactly the fucking reason. Because he's getting $100 million fucking dollars. Yeah. And it sounds better for him on a public relations level to say, I'm not coming back because I'm afraid of head injuries, instead of saying, well, fuck you, I got my money, I don't give a fuck. Because truthfully, I don't think he really gives a fuck about fighting for the UFC. I don't think he gives a fuck about his fans. All he gives a fuck about is himself.
And
that's all he fucking cares about.
But to be fair, I would like some more of that medicine that he's swilling to be passed around a couple more fighters. Not as bad as, say, the extremes that Conor takes it to, but a little more of that swagger, I think, would keep the disproportionate levels of power that the UFC has over its fighters to in a little bit more fairness.
Knowing your worth and being a shitbag are two totally different things.
Good.
He's towing the fucking line.
Great. You said it perfectly, bro. That's exactly what I was trying to get at. In a million words, which is kind of my thing, but it was exactly, he's right on that line where, you know, hey, go out and get after yours, you know, but now he's gonna look like a money grubbing, you know, son of a bitch. But do you really feel he's ever coming back? Because I sure as shit though. And if he does, it's gonna be for another grab ass boxing match where, you know, he's, you know, one night is done. And it's going to be another, you know, cash cow. Maybe not as much as this. I don't see him beating Floyd, so I don't think it's going to be crazy money-wise. But it'll still be more than what you get for a UFC fight. So, fuck it, man.
Well, he's going to make 100 mil. He's going to make 100 mil. No, it's not that I blame him, but don't fucking circle jerk everybody around. Oh, I'll fight Khabib in Russia. No, you won't, motherfucker. No, you won't. No, you're not coming back. I don't care what the fuck you say. You're just doing things to keep pushing your fucking brand, because if he said that he's not going to come back, he might lose his fucking fans. But what I want to know is, if he doesn't come back, what the fuck is he going to do?
Acting. I'm dead serious. Like, word on the street is he really has legitimate offers to do so. 100%. And, he's just going to branch off into that shit.
But like you mentioned before, if he loses to Floyd, are those acting offers still going to be prevalent? Because they weren't for Ronda.
They weren't for Ronda, but like I feel as though the branding is different. Ronda was completely predicated on the fact that she could beat everybody. Conor talked his way and backed it up. And then when he lost, he took it, at least initially, he took it like a man. Hey, you beat me, blah, 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 blah. Then, of course, he turned it around to try to get the hype machine set up for the second fight. However, it's not completely predicated on being like this destroyer. He's charismatic and he's captivating. I think that would translate far better in almost any circumstances to a career outside of actually fighting. So I do think, do I think it would be as high? If he beats Floyd Mayweather, he literally should run for Congress or wherever the fuck they have in Dublin, and he'll be running that country. He'll be like, fuck Brexit, we're still using the euro. Let's get this party started. It's still a tax haven. Everybody bring your money over here and hide it from your government's revenue services. But if he does lose, which I think is probably, I have it at like 70-30, 80-20, that he's going to lose. It's just too much. It's like saying somebody's going to come in and fucking, beat Andre Galvao with, a week of fucking training. Shut up. You know what I mean?
Not everybody can be BJ Penn. Not everybody can be BJ Penn.
Yeah, right? Like fucking getting your stuff. He was on the AP track for fucking jiu-jitsu. I can never forget that. Putting it in perspective for me. But I don't think it'll kill him as much as it would kill Ronda. Ronda just didn't have a personality, though. That's why, though.
Well, here's the other half of that. He doesn't come back. So now that is two divisions that do not have a legit champion.
Oh, he fucked them. Yeah.
145. I mean, yeah, Holloway's a champ, but he's not. Just like DC wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the champ. So if Conor doesn't come back, whoever gets the fucking interim belt or whatever the fuck belt, they're not really the champ. So that's fucked up to do to the company. And then you could sit around and say, oh, well, they never beat me. Well, of course they didn't fucking beat you because you didn't fucking defend the belt.
But he would not. Would be what all he says.
But that's not fair.
100%. But I mean, it's not fair. But man, you tell me if Tony Ferguson wouldn't switch places with Conor McGregor right now.
Tony fights. Tony's a fighter. He doesn't give a fuck.
But for $100 million, he wouldn't. Break off a piece of his soul to Satan.
But Tony would come back to the UFC, I think.
I do too. And that's just because he's a fucking one of the locus vatos in the business right now. He's just got it in his blood, you know what I mean? Which you could theoretically say about a crazy Irishman, but this one just is more interested in making the coinage.
Yeah.
I get it. He wants the pot of gold, But even look at the game as they come Diaz brothers. They've made enough money where they're just like, fuck it.
They've also smoked themselves retarded.
Yeah, but they've smoked themselves retarded, but I feel as though like they live within their means, Lebowski style, in Stockton, California.
Yeah, but that doesn't last forever.
In Stockton it can. I think the standard of living in Stockton is such.
Bro, I can personally show you somebody who spent like $400,000 in 2 years, easily.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean,
easily.
I know what you're getting at, but like
you can that shit doesn't last forever.
You can do appearances, maybe not Rivoli's, but
and the part that makes me laugh is, oh, they know their worth. Every champion's calling them out. Yeah, you know why? Because they know it's going to make them money, and they know they're going to fucking beat them.
Yeah,
like everybody acts like these two are fucking world beaters. The last time Nick Diaz was a world beater, he was fighting in Elite XC and Strikeforce. That was the last time he was a world beater.
Yeah, him versus Gomi was a little bit right before that, right? Like a little bit before the Elite
Nick Diaz has never been a fucking world beater.
He's a 500 guy. He's a consistent
at lightweight. He's fucking 500.
Yeah, consistent middle of the road guy. You know,
so the only reason why they're as popular, but the only reason why they're as popular as they are is because everybody loves an asshole. Everybody loves an asshole. It doesn't matter if they got fucking talent or not.
I'd like to say that some of my charm is not from that, but that hits a little too close to home. That was a little much. But you're right. I don't know though. I just feel, you know, circling back, I feel bad for Paulie. I
do and I don't. He should have fucking I don't know. He should have had some kind of inclination that something could go.
But he was rolling the dice and he was betting on notoriety being the bomb that would, you know,
either that or they kissed his ass.
They kissed his ass, of course they did.
Come over there.
For sure, but they kissed his ass to fucking entice him. It's the same way like a wolf will kiss a you know, to use your analogy, a goat's ass to come closer to the den so that he can bite him in the goddamn nutsack. Like
or the coyote to entice a domesticated dog out of the fence.
Exactly. And then suddenly there's fucking, you know, 14 Mexicans, aka other coyotes that are there to just fucking chop them up. That's how they roll, bro. They learned that somewhere.
So pretty much all it tells you is Conor and his camp, they're just a bunch of fucking bullies, pieces of shit.
They're going to be rich pieces of shit, though. So we're going to not we're going to not be able to ignore them for a little while, which is what's crazy. You know, even if he leaves fighting, he's still going to be one of the biggest things in fighting for a while. It's going to be crazy, but you know that's going to be the case because
you know what though, they could talk about him but they could talk about him forever if he's not doing anything else. It's like you're talking about a fucking dead person because he's not Muhammad Ali. But he's not. You know why he's not Muhammad Ali? Because Muhammad Ali fucking fought forever.
And also had a moral stance. That moral stance is what put him in. I don't think there's that iconic historical moment that you know, unless he somehow, you know, stops Brexit. You know, he does something fucking crazy out of the box, like I'm gonna keep the UK together, and it's just him, you know, and then it's just him and Margaret Thatcher as the two biggest UK post Winston Churchill people of all goddamn time. But he's gonna still do stuff outside of fighting, and he'll, you know, to coin a phrase, he'll honey dick people in fighting for at least a year or two after that. So I'm just telling you, Tommy, prep for whatever happens. Even if he leaves fighting, we're still going to have to talk about him for a little while. I'm telling you. Because they're going to be like, well, is he coming back? Is he coming back? It'll die down after like a year or two, you know? But even then, if he goes and does crazy movies and they somehow work out and he becomes a big movie star, you don't think they'll be clamoring for a one-off return 3 years post-retirement?
And I hope that one-off return would be against fucking GSP, and GSP fucking switch kicks his fucking head off.
Jesus Christ, at that point, GSP will be 700 years old. Like, let's not go back. I love him to death, too. And as an extended teammate, I get where the love is, and I understand it. I appreciate it. But, man, even Frenchman fucking H, okay? He's, you know.
Have you seen him lately? He doesn't look like he fucking aged.
I feel like him and Ponce de Leon have some explaining to do. I get where you're coming from with that completely. However, time is undefeated. That's all I gotta say. You know, eventually there's gonna be a cutoff time. You know, I'll even chalk up some of his last wins in his career. You know, especially that last Hendricks win.
He just didn't want to be there, man.
He was burnt out. Exactly. I'll go as far as to say that. But eventually, there's gonna come a time when, you know, even the mighty Case is gonna strike out. You know, I
guess we'll find out. But
I hope it's not against GSP because I want him to take a big fat steaming French Canadian shit on GSP's head or on Bisping's head. You know, that's what I want to see.
We'll get into that in a little bit.
Man, I want to see. I was rooting for the Sharks is all I'm gonna say on his last vacation when Bisping was, almost drowning and shit. Not his family. I'm not that much of a savage. His family, I wanted them to get safely to shore, but then I wanted a shark to bite
that
the Union
happened.
Jack
That
off his
happened
dick.
right where our buddy Mike lives in Hawaii.
And you know what I want to say? More than likely, Mike will just probably opine like, "Yo, you should have known." Like, why are you coming to the fucking island, you goddamn foreigner? No, it just seemed like being like, well, And then what did you do? You drive a broken car, a car with like easy access. After you got it broken into once, you're like, fuck it, let's just go up the road. And you don't think it's gonna happen again. And you keep valuables in the car. Yeah. Oh Lord in heaven. Just to recap for the folks that are trying to go, what the hell are they talking about? Bisping was recently in Hawaii on vacation, and he had a series of unfortunate events. Whatever the hell the equivalent for Lemony Snicket is in Britain, our man Bisping, that one-eyed bastard was that guy for a little bit. He got his car broken into. He said, fuck it. Yeah, I don't want to ruin my vacation. So he drove that broken into car to another location. They broke into it again because, of course, now it's just easy. You go in through the window that's already bashed in. God, I would even rob a car at that point. Then they go and they swim, and apparently there's some difficulties, and this is serious, and I feel bad here. Like his family and him almost drowned. Is what the story goes, and that was his relaxing vacation. Moral of the story: he should have been fighting instead of ducking people.
Well, he doesn't really have an eye for detail, dude.
No, he couldn't see. He couldn't foresee the robberies.
Yes.
He should have kept an eye on the tides. Apparently,
you got to keep that eye on the ball, Michael. You got to keep that eye on the ball.
Oh, that bouncing ball is gonna get him every time. He's gonna look like that dog that can't catch any treats that you throw. I bet you. If you threw like stuff at Michael Bisping, he'd just bite it and flip over. Just clamp thin air. I've seen those. It's been going around Facebook.
We're just kidding, Michael. I hope GSP fucking kicks your head off.
Yeah, I hope he. No, I don't hope blindness on anybody. That's
no.
Stop.
No, he'll be like. He'll just make him look like Debo, Yeah. Knock your fucking eyes straight.
That's something I want to see. So, without further ado, then let's jump into that. That's one of the fights. That's what is it officially pseudo signed yet? No.
George GSP signed a contract. I think he signed like a 4-fight deal right now.
No shit.
As of right now.
Oh damn.
I think that's what I saw.
That's got to be lucrative as fuck, though. I want to see the terms on that thing, because how the hell did they lure him in? Is Under Armour going out of business? Is that the only reason why?
I don't know. He's probably getting a lot of fucking back end money.
He's got to be, points probably too. Easily, he probably worked out. He's probably going to be one of the few non-champions to get points. What do you think?
He's going to make Conor money.
Yeah.
Which he has to.
He deserves
I'm sure he was coming close to that before the Reebok deal.
Mm.
You know how much Under Armour was probably paying him, plus all his other sponsors. I'm sure he was getting points, and he was
Under Armour was rumored, but I don't know like the length of the time. But I keep hearing the number 10 million. Is what was, so I don't know if that was a doubt that was per fight, maybe per year. That would even be tremendous.
Doesn't matter.
That's still good money. Yeah, you're right. Plus, it's good gear.
He was the highest paid guy at one point,
and deservedly so. I think he's more of your style of champion, right, Tommy?
Yes. He keeps his fucking mouth shut. He goes in, does his job, and goes home.
And you know what's impressive though? I've seen this guy once. Much smaller than you would imagine. Not like thickness. He's a solid piece of granite. He's not that tall of a guy. I don't know what it is. He just, when he's doing violence, he seems probably 10 feet tall is the thing.
Well, he has the best wrestling for a guy who's never wrestled in his life until he started doing MMA training.
I swear to God, I don't know how the hell that's even fucking possible, dude. Like,
He's just athletically gifted, Chael Sonnen said that, he rolled with George before his Tito fight. He was rolling with George. They were I forget where they were. And Chael said he
the
was
mean
the
streets
heaviest.
Of West Lynn, probably.
Chael said he was the heaviest guy that he's ever had on him that does not outweigh him. He's like, wild. He goes, I couldn't move him.
That's crazy, dude.
Nick Diaz is a fucking black belt. He couldn't get him off.
Yeah. Jake Shields. Like always says he's a.
And guess what? Now they're training together.
Yeah, which
think about how much better Jake Shields is probably getting now with his wrestling and things like that. And with Danaher and GSP.
Yeah. And and not eating meat, still, powerful vegan diet for my man Jake there. But it's incredible to me. I could just not get over it because even like Olympic caliber, like you said, Chael did. There was, a couple of people on the Canadian Olympic wrestling team that were like, we don't know how the fuck, like this guy could walk on and probably get a spot at his weight during the height of his title run. When he was on that iconic run in the UFC and he was training with Canadian Olympians for the wrestling team. They were like, yeah, he could probably do it. That's absurd, dude. For somebody that never did it before.
He's just gifted. He's gifted.
It's one of those people, man. It's like Whitney Houston hitting that high note. It's like, how the hell can you wrestle this goddamn well without prior training? It's absurd. Is what it is.
And the thing with him is there's two different GSPs. I think we're going to see the GSP come out against Bisping, and I hate fucking saying this because not only did I lose a lot of money on this fight, but I love the guy to death. I think we're going to see the GSP that came out against Matt Serra the second time, hungry, pissed, and wanting his belt.
Gotcha.
Like what we got to see after that, and when he beat Matt Hughes, after that we saw the GSP that was just going through the motions. He was keeping his belt.
Protecting his paycheck, protecting his legacy. Yeah, but he's not getting after it.
He wasn't going for it, but you could kind of tell he was getting burnt out. Yeah. You could kind of tell he didn't want to be there.
Well, I think the thing is, and you'll attest to this, with GSP and at his level, like he's at the level of mastery. And the way he gets with stuff, he strikes me as somebody that he gets obsessed with things that he's doing. Right? So he gets absolutely like just focused. It's all he thinks about. It's all he dreams about. He sleeps it. He eats it. So he does that. That's hard to sustain for any length of time, I mean. Like it's one of those things where, the mere mortals could do that over like a show or over a book series, or over a comic or, something of that nature where it's like passive. Yeah, I'm consuming this media. I'm getting really balls deep into it. I'm going to go into the backstory, this, that, and the third, right? But with something like fighting, man, it's just one of those things where to be that level of obsessed, you have to then give so much of yourself to it. I think that started to take its toll. Every fight camp, he was always fully immersed in what he was doing, which on one side gave him the skills and the progression and the results that he got. Because, he might have been a slight bit boring, but he was the great negator. But then on the other end, man, you start paying that blood price, it's going to add up after a while, Even 1% of your fire and drive dying every week or every month of stringent preparation is going to be crazy difficult, So I just think, I hope we see that GSP that you mentioned. I really do, because that's the one that I point to. I would have in my mind that GSP, and then my friends would be at the Buffalo Wild Wings watching the other GSP that you mentioned, where he's just kind of phoning it in and just laying on him and kind of doing the work there,
Yeah, but you know what? Even when he was doing that, he was dominant. And it's not like he was dominant against tomato cans. You know what I mean? He was dominant against good guys. And he just made it look so damn easy.
Yeah. I mean, but say what you want about this man. Say what you want about John Fitch, but I respected him as a gritty, nasty, like, garbage pail kid of a fighter, and what GSP did to that guy was super impressive. I was like, wow. He put him on his ass. He kept putting him on his ass, and nothing that, Fitch struck you as a guy, I would rather die than lose. And GSP was like, okay, I will kill you.
Well, I think Fitch has, I mean, it could argue, but I think Fitch had probably the best submission defense I have seen.
Yeah.
Jake Shields. Remember his fight with Damian Maia? Remember that fight with Damian Maia?
Yes, I do. That was.
He got out of every single submission that Maia put him in for all 3 rounds.
That's incredible.
I mean, it was a Maia dominant fight, but Maia was putting him in submissions, and he just sat through them and was patient and got out. So once again, like you said, he wasn't a tough out at all.
Yeah. But
even Josh Koscheck at one point was, he earned the fight.
Yeah,
to get against GSP.
And I remember that it wasn't just the marketing machine that had some butterflies for the fight. It was Josh Koscheck's right goddamn hand. Like Koscheck was legit at one point in his career, and I thought that he had enough wrestling to turn it into a situation where he could maybe give him the old Matt Serra. But then again, who you have to be Matt Serra to be giving anybody the Mets. Ask him.
You know what? The one thing that I like about George St. Pierre, I mean, he's only lost twice. In both of those losses, he's come back and fixed whatever he needed to fix, and he got 100 times better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he lost by that arm bar to Matt Hughes, comes back, whips Matt Hughes' fucking ass. How many times did he beat him? Twice, right?
Yeah.
Didn't he beat him twice after he lost the first time to him?
Yeah. Shit. Yes.
Did he beat him twice?
Yeah, because he got the belt and then he defended the belt against him, I believe. I remember, and it was
because I remember the last fight they had. Hughes was verbally tapping because against the cage, GSP had his arm and he couldn't tap.
Yeah, it was bad. But notice what you just said. He gets caught in a sub, and then what does he do? He gets nasty at subs. He's like, this will never happen to me again. You know what GSP is, honestly? Like, he's one of those modern day like samurais. If he was back in the day, he'd have a little top knot and a couple of swords strapped across his back, and he'd be walking across the country fucking people up politely. But like,
yeah. See, that was the thing with his and Sarah's second fight was I hated when things started getting like, and the war of words are going back and forth because it's just like you have 2 nice guys here, especially GSP. Like GSP could be raping you and probably apologizing as he's doing it. You know what I mean? Like he's just a genuine guy.
Yeah. You're not really keeping me.
You know what I mean? He's just like, and even when he said that to Hughes, like when he's insulting him, he's still being respectful.
It sounded like dainty in a way. I don't mean to disparage him at all because he'll kill me, but it sounded almost like he was being like very calculated and nice. I wasn't, it's almost like a guidance counselor giving you feedback, right? Doesn't want to crush the guy because he wants this person to at least get to like vocational school or community college, right? No, I still want this person to be a citizen. But I got to tell this guy that he sucked. So how do I do it? Cue the GSP. Not impressed by your performance. Like, that's the nicest letdown of all time. But it wasn't even a real fiery diss, But I feel like that was one of the biggest things where the internet, I think, really aided the hype machine there, because I remember that on, I don't know if Reddit was around at the time, but I sure do know Sherdog was. Shout out to the Sherdog forums and the MMA underground, where the mixed martial arts trolls lived. They took that and they ran with it. I remember that thing just blew up, and it was internet troll fodder. So I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, it was crazy, but it was almost like, if you look back on it objectively, Tom, like, he was just saying, "Hey, I don't think that was the best that you could do." But they turned it into this huge fucking.
I was not impressed by your performance.
Yeah, that's what I bro. You've been doing your fucking homework. But so I think it's obvious. Who would you have in this perspective matchup?
Not even close. GSP.
Yeah, I don't think there's any fucking, like, what phase of the game.
I mean, the one thing I could say for Bisping is whenever he gets taken down, he's real good at getting back up quick. I just don't think he's going to be able to get up quick with GSP, because with GSP working with Danaher, look, you're going to give me your leg. Now I'm going to take your fucking leg home with me.
Yeah. Or at least,
like you got to think about who he's working with. Danaher, Gary Tonin,
the Ryans.
Jake Shields.
Gordon Ryan's got to be.
Gordon Ryan. Henzo. I mean, he's worked with Henzo for a long time, but I mean, holy shit.
Now we're dialing it in, exactly. It's
and what is Bisping is good at stand-up.
And cardio.
And I guess he's okay. He's okay on the ground.
And his wrestling's always been the biggest hole in his game. Ever since I can remember.
Well, and I love what he chalks that up to. Because the wrestling's not big in Britain. Well, okay, fuckwad. Why didn't you fucking do part of your goddamn training in the United States to fucking do some wrestling training, or go to another country? Better yet, go to fucking Russia. Learn how to wrestle from fucking Russia.
Or pay somebody to come to your camp. Like, if I'm in his position, and I'm like, listen, I'm a world champion, but for the grace of God. So what do I have to do? I'm gonna pay for Khabib's entire family to live at my house. You know what I mean? Give them all the tiramisu that they can fucking stomach, and teach me how to be a Dagestani killer.
Well, that was what killed. I think that's what killed Rampage's career when he decided to go to Wolf Den and train out there.
You called it Wolf Den.
What is it? Fucking Wolf's Lair, whatever the fuck. Wolf Den.
I thought you were being an asshole. Just calling it like
whatever the fuck.
No, there's little cubs in Wolf's Den, but whereas in a Wolf's Lair, there's like tougher people. I thought you were
Wolf's Lair. I don't know. It sounds like a cheesy fucking video game. That's all I know.
It sounds like a
fucking cheesy video game.
It's like a sub boss. It's not even the main boss, but it's like you go to the Wolf to get the key to go somewhere else. It's like shit.
Yeah. So, okay, you're complaining that, your wrestling's not as good, but why wouldn't you work on that?
I would.
Because you like to get that, you can get that one lucky punch, in there and hope it's like a guy like Luke Rockhold, who, I mean, if that guy wasn't so fucking full of himself, he probably would have ended up beating Bisping again.
Luke lost. Bisping didn't win.
Yeah, Luke lost. He beat himself.
Yeah, he did. He beat himself. He was thinking about Demi Lovato's, Lovato. And his head was in the clouds, man. He didn't take him seriously. He thought,
he loses the belt and she goes to a Bellator guy.
No. He had a terrible week that week. I'll tell you that. He gets beat by a one-eyed British pirate. They still have those, apparently, right? And then his girl gets swooped by somebody that doesn't even have like a Versace modeling deal. I'm surprised. Rockhold didn't fucking end up
commit suicide.
Carradine, yeah, he didn't get suicided for trying to break off a pedophile ring, because I know that's the thing. You better watch yourself. I've been a vocal.
Hot dogs out there.
Yeah, a lot of interstellar psychotic vampires that are there to steal you. So we've got, I think we're both in agreement. Watch out. But we're both in agreement there. I don't see ring rust is the only thing that makes me nervous, but I think he's training hard enough.
I don't think he's going to have any.
I think he's training.
I don't think he's going to have any.
All I've seen, I follow him on every social whatever. I follow the other places that he's going to that sometimes they'll post pictures and he won't, which I kind of like too. Like, it's like, oh, he won't say what he's doing, and then Danaher will be like, he was here. It's like, okay. Well, he's training like an animal. So if that's not there, bro, I was never high on Bisping as a champion anyway. You know,
I've never high on Bisping his entire career.
He
would not have won. Yeah, but he would not have won the Ultimate Fighter had they let Matt Hamill continue. Because remember, he had the concussion.
Yeah,
he ended up. Was it Bisping that he beat when he got upkicked?
I believe so.
Was it Bisping?
It was some crazy business. I mean, it very well could have been. I'm not up on the.
I don't know. Maybe it wasn't Bisping, but I know. No, he got upkicked, and he still won that fight. Not remembering any of it. No, because he was going to fight Bisping.
I got you. And they were like, whatever. And but okay. Charisma wise, you have a guy to break into a market that you could never have prior, or you have Matt Hamill. I mean, you're going to be protecting. I think there were some shenanigans. Yes, I
think Matt Hamill's a better story. You got a guy that's going in there who can't hear his corner, so he's in there on his own, having to do it himself. More of a story in that.
I'm fully in the Matt Hamill camp because I'm halfway in the Matt Hamill camp, so I'm with you 1,000%.
There's more of a story in that than fucking a red coat coming on over and taking the fucking taking the glory.
Dan Henderson will forever have
the greatest meme ever.
Every Christmas, there's going to be a place setting at wherever house that I'm running Christmas that year, and it's going to be in case that American hero Daniel Henderson wants to just stop on by for some apple pie and some good old fashioned. Let's shoot guns. Something American. Fuck, man, I can't. I don't think I've yelled that loud for I think it was a non-title fight too. So for a non-title fight result in a long time, I think if ever.
It was pretty.
I was a lunatic. It was everything I hoped for. It really was.
I didn't mind the elbow at the end, honestly. He deserved it.
I have yet to hear somebody conclusively argue with me saying that was not needed. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't care.
He deserved it.
Yeah, he did. With all the shit he was talking, and you don't understand. I'm still, he spit on all of Puerto Rico a couple of fights prior to that. So he can go, he can eat a big fat pile of dicks. So yeah, we have, I think we're firmly on the GSP train there. Which fight do you want to get into next time?
You pick, brother. This is your barbecue.
Okay. Well, we mentioned the situation. Is Ferguson and Khabib like an official?
It's, I guess. I mean, I've seen it in other places. I've seen articles, so I'm thinking it's there. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're not 100% fucking saying it yet, just in case Khabib doesn't make weight or.
Is he trying to get like whale blood transfusion?
Yeah, that picture was crazy, right?
Dude, that cupping. I've seen it. I know about it. I get it. I even think
isn't that something you could do at home though? Take out the old Swiss Army knife and just start cutting yourself up, stick ball jars on there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel if teenage girls did that, they'd have to go to the guidance counselor and talk again to continue with that theme. But I don't know, dude. I think he's too big for the division, unfortunately. I really feel like he's just grown. He's got his man muscles now, as they say, and he might very well not be able to make that weight anymore. I think the tiramisu was the cover. I'm a conspiracy theorist that way. I really do. No, I think that he did the tiramisu because he knew that his body was already shutting down and not going to let him fucking cut the weight. Any professional would not have done that. And he's a pro. I don't give a shit. Everybody says he's not whatever, but he wrestled bears as a child. He's a wild motherfucker. So I think he's a game opponent. He's not afraid of anybody, but I think he knew his body was taking a shit, so he's like, fuck it, let me have this tiramisu. That's all I can have. It'll make me happy. I'm sad I'm going to lose this fight, lose the money.
Yeah. I think he could do it. I just don't think. Excuse me.
No problem.
I don't think his training is gearing him to cut the weight. You know, I just don't. You can't tell me a guy who's fought at 155 forever can't make the fucking weight. You can't. You can't tell me that.
He's getting
IVs or not.
He's getting older.
He ain't that old.
In the fight game, he's 900.
Oh, right. Stop it.
He started wrestling bears when he was fucking 6, man. That's some pretty hard city miles on the old frame,
you know what it is? I mean, they're the training sessions that he has at AKA where he's going against Daniel. Yeah, but he's going against Daniel Cormier, who is a goddamn light heavyweight, damn near a fucking heavyweight.
Hold on, light heavyweight, sir?
And he's fighting at 155.
Out of fight camp. Let's be honest.
Yeah. He's and Rockhold.
He's 240.
And I'm sure he fucks around with Kane too. So he's going up against all these guys but he's going against these guys that are bigger than him. So he has to fucking supplement that somehow. So he probably gets a little bit bigger himself. So I'm sure he could do it. But he probably starts cutting weight too goddamn fucking close to the fight. He probably started cutting weight for that fight maybe fucking a week before when he shouldn't have, because he was terrible. Because he was on Matt Serra's fucking podcast and said that his weight was fine 2 days before the fight. Well, 3 days, because this was a Wednesday. They record on Wednesday and it comes out on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So he said his weight was fine. So he was feeling good then. So it's you know what I mean? He just doesn't cut it right. He doesn't cut it the right way. He probably needs a fucking nutritionist.
You mean his dad can't just wave a magic wand in Dagestan and get him to cut the weight? Like it's worked before. Okay. That's kind of what I feel he's stuck in. He's one of those guys that I think he's stuck still old school, even being an AKA. I don't like AKA for him. I think he's, his knees have paid the price. So I don't care if his prime is going to be cut short. If it's not already cut short by just that camp. His knees aren't going to be 1,000, or if they're 1,000, even if they come back to 100%, I think they're going to come back to 100% for a couple of years less than what we could have seen him do.
This fight with Ferguson needs to happen.
It really does. Because you know what? The entirety of the MMA community has a giant case of blue balls. Quite frankly, because that's kind of what I feel like with this fight. I'm just like, it's almost no.
I mean, this will be the third time, I think, right? Third or fourth attempt.
Third. I think it'll be the third attempt. And bro, if something, I'm going to quote The Godfather here. Should somebody get struck by lightning, I think that Khabib is never going to fight in the UFC again. He can't. Like, if something weird happens, knock on wood, Ferguson doesn't have anything happen to him.
So I was about to say, imagine if Ferguson has to end up pulling out.
Oh, my Lord. I'm going to feel like there's some sort of fucking hoodoo hex on this, and it might be based on a leprechaun, Because who's the guy that benefits from this sort of maelstrom in that weight division more than Conor McGregor? Nobody else.
Well, it doesn't matter because either one of those two win, they're not going to get Conor.
No, they're not. But at least it stokes the whole it's inconclusive, because instead of having a legitimate heir to whatever throne is left over, clamoring for a fight, right? If you had some sort of conclusion to this Ferguson-Khabib mess a few months prior, whoever won that could have been on a 3 to 4 month campaign to be like, you better come back, motherfucker, and something should have hit the mark. Posting pictures of him on welfare and saying I was never on welfare, and then something, bro. You could have goaded him in somehow, but I don't know. I think this only benefits Conor if something happens. God forbid. This fight card looks amazing. If the injury bug doesn't hit any of it, it's going to be tremendous.
Yeah, I mean, look at that card. Just look at it. It's what is it? 4 title fights.
Yeah, it's a night. You know what? The minute I saw that graphic where it was the 4 title fights, I said, you know what? They should just. I know they don't subtitle them anymore, but like it should like Night of Champions. It very well deservedly could be 4 out of the 5 main card fights are fucking championship bouts, for God's sakes. It's just like a WrestleMania.
You know, now, who's the curtain jerker for that? Who's the one non-title fight? They don't have that yet.
Johnny Hendricks versus Paulo Boranchinha? Are they gonna make that one the curtain jerker? I hope not. I hope they bury him.
It'll probably be fucking CM Punk. CM Punk versus the fucking Green Power Ranger.
Bro, it'll be
that's going to be the opening fight.
Don't you talk about Jason David Frank in that tone of voice, sir. Don't you dare.
At least Jason David Frank's an actual mixed fucking martial artist.
I'll give him all the credit in the world. I'm telling you, you know, I hate to say he could probably tune me up. You know, he has enough ground game where I don't think it would negate it. Like he's athletic. You know,
I'd love to see him tune up fucking CM Punk.
You know, and if he's in a bind, he just takes out that little dagger. He plays a couple notes into it, and a fucking robot comes out and shoots CM Punk in the eyeballs. And then you're done. I ain't fucking with that. That's tough. That's serious business. So yeah, I don't know who the hell they bring in to make this to set the night off. But so I think we're both pretty. So okay, we talked about the fight actually happening, but who do you have?
I think Khabib takes it just because of his wrestling. I mean, you know, Ferguson is fucking unorthodox as all hell, and he's a scrappy son of a bitch. Yep. And you know, when you got Eddie Bravo teaching you jiu-jitsu,
but not world history.
You know,
keep it to jiu-jitsu. Don't let him comment on a fucking thing else. Love you, Eddie, but God damn it.
But anyway. I just don't think Ferguson will be able to deal with the pressure that Khabib puts on guys. It's something like it's funny. You watch the pressure Khabib puts on a guy, and it looks like there's a fucking light heavyweight on top of a 155er when he's on top of these guys. Yeah, and his ground and pound is like classic fucking ground and pound. So yep. I think he takes it that way. That's what I think. I think it goes 3 rounds, but Ferguson's gonna come out looking like fucking Sloth from the Goonies, just lumps all over the fucking place.
Looking like Mask. He's got Cher in his corner, you know, telling him to hold
Yes.
On. Oh god. That's I have it pretty much going the same way. It doesn't make for good radio, I guess, but you know, we're in lockstep at least here. I don't see
great minds think alike.
That's really what it is, because a healthy Khabib does things grappling wise that, and it's the little things that he does that people, you know, I not to sound elitist in the least, honestly, but it's like the little technical shit that turns into what you said. The result is he looks like a mausoleum slab on top of a person, and it's like somebody, you know, it almost looks like Dawn of the Dead. It's like somebody's trying to crawl out of their own grave, you know. And it's just like, but he's not moving this fucking thing. And it's these little things, you know, the pressure, the angles, the leverage that he creates, and the power that he generates in different positions. And it's nothing unorthodox, like you said. It's nothing crazy. It's just the basics done to an extremely high level. A great gas tank when he's not, you know, tiramisuing it up 2 days before the fight. You know, he does have a good work rate and high pressure. And he still tries to hit you from every different angle, you know, and he tries to magnify it. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. His 2-on-1 control is fucking absurd. You know, when he wraps up your hands, and he's able to you know, just pin your wrist to your body, and then punch you in the face, and then have your, you know, and have your other arm pinned against your body and the ground. It sounds simple. It's like, well, why doesn't he just get up from that? Go grapple somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing exactly. Go grapple in quicksand, all right? And tell me how the fuck you were. You know, oh, just get up, bro. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, you got the chains of fucking Dionysus wrapping around you and dragging you into the underworld, for fuck's sake. mixed metaphors like a son of a bitch that I realize, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's like you're drunk and then you're dying, I guess, is what that makes.
Yeah, no, his ground pressure is just too much, and even with bad knees, he can still shoot from across that cage and get your ass down.
Yeah, it's almost like it's like he's got that double-sided tape. It's like that sticky tape where once he wraps on you, he's just heavy. He drags you down. He just needs to make contact with you. You know, Ferguson's best opportunity is to catch him on the way in. Everybody's going to harp on the fact that Michael Johnson isn't a great world beater. He's an explosive puncher, but not a great striker.
Yeah, but I think he's also stronger and faster than Tony Ferguson.
That's why Tony's unorthodox. I think his unorthodox style came from, he's compensated for it.
I'm talking about Michael Johnson. I'm talking about Michael Johnson being stronger and faster than Ferguson.
And I totally agree. But what I'm saying is that you see Ferguson with some fighters, you'll see them develop like an unorthodox style to compensate for the fact that they're not exactly athletes of the year. So I'm agreeing with you 100%. I think Michael Johnson is but conversely, that can hurt a fighter because I think there's technical gaps in Michael's game that he's never really thought to address. Like same with like a Jeremy Stevens. When you have power like that and you're especially a smaller guy and you can just knock people dead, right? You might not exactly learn how to box because you can get like 75% of the way home by just touching people. It's one of those spooky, like, I have this power in my fist. He's One Punch Man, but with hair. It's that last 25% that gets you the championship. It's that last 25% that gets you over the hump of people like Frankie Edgar. It's that last finish line sort of refinement. So, in a weird sense, those lack of gifts, I think, might have helped Ferguson get to where he is today. But bringing it back to the fight with Khabib, I don't think he has that one-shot death power that you would need to stop Khabib. Because you have to hit him once on a weird scramble or coming in if he's undisciplined in one of his shots that he takes from across the cage, and then Ferguson goes boom, but he's not going to get 2, 3, 4 on him because Khabib will eat that. He'll face roll it and then turn it into a takedown.
Yeah, because it's one thing to catch him, but now you got to be able to finish him. Yeah. Michael Johnson going to finish him. So now you got to finish him.
Yeah. He stumbled forward into Michael Johnson and was still enough of a good muscle memory wrestler, not a panic one, a muscle memory one, to bring him to the ground and shit on him for another round. So you're telling me you could hit the guy in the head with a baseball bat and he's still going to wrap the arm up that you hit him with and fucking take it home with him? Jesus Christ, that's a scary individual to face one-on-one in a cage.
So as long as this fight happens, it's going to be Khabib's fight.
I really think so. And at that point, then, to go back with what you said, I feel almost bad for him because then what the fuck is he going to do?
But he's going to go on Twitter and keep insulting Conor like he has been doing for the past year.
And then Conor's just going to tweet pictures of money and be like, take it easy.
He's going to be Floyd Mayweather. Now he's going to be just like Floyd Mayweather.
Exactly, with a school bag. But he can read, so don't get it twisted.
Well, we think he can.
Well, I'll give him that. Ireland's school system is better than here. Next up on the Night of Champions that we're taking a look at, UFC 217, the proposed card, we have finally, theoretically and hopefully, TJ versus Garbrandt. That's a barn burner.
Yeah, I don't know who to pick in that one.
Really?
I don't know who to pick in that one. I really don't. Cody showed something in that fight, like how. Cody I don't know, man.
Bro, Cody went super.
Yeah.
Dancing.
I mean, he embarrassed Dominic Cruz.
Cruz was one of my pound for pound best of all time.
Here's the thing. Okay. Dominic Cruz was saying that, which is why he hasn't fought, that his feet are fucked up. So could that have been it? He's not the healthiest fucking guy. Like his body is like 120 or 135 pounds of chew dog shit
really
from all the
like
the shit that's been done to him. Yeah, like all his surgeries and everything. Yeah. So could it be, he's kind of being put out to pasture? Maybe. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's been a pretty long layoff for Dillashaw. I can't even tell you when the last time he fucking fought was.
What was it against Lineker?
Maybe.
Was that the one where he shut Lineker down and he tried some weird business grappling even? Almost got caught.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I know it was a while ago.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at
fucking Lineker. Jesus. I wish that guy had better skills just to be able to see him fucking wing punches on a pay-per-view.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. I'm just saying, bro. Like,
so it's I don't know, man. I don't. Cause it's just one of those fights. It's just like I can't figure it out. I think Cody could pull it out, but I also think TJ's kind of in Cody's head a little bit. And you kind of saw that on The Ultimate Fighter where he just because Cody just wanted to fight him every 5 seconds.
But then he snatched him
up
I think Eagle. Like I'm just, that was a...
Yeah, but did you know TJ didn't do anything? He just stood there.
Yeah, but...
So it's, I don't know. If I had to put gun to my head, I say Cody wins, but it's like a razor thin decision. Like razor fucking thin.
You know what my biggest concern with this, and I'm surprised you didn't mention it, maybe you're being nice and let me pick up on it, is do we get the Cody back that we're hoping to see and that we're somewhat used to? That's a big if. You know this. I unfortunately am starting to understand it keenly. Back issues are no fucking joke. And if he had to take that extra time, some people will be on the bandwagon and be like, Omar, you're so negative. You're such a downer. He took the extra time and it healed him up. I'm of the camp where it's like, well, why did he need that extra time? He's still a young guy. He's still in his prime. He should be athletically, like a werewolf. You should be able to hit him, but unless you use silver, he can bounce back. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
That's what killed Dominic Cruz. Was the fact that, he didn't take the extra time. So maybe conversely, maybe I'm convincing myself of it while we talk. But what's going on with that man's physical health? That's the biggest factor for me.
Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't.
I think he beats Dillashaw.
He doesn't talk about what's going on with his back really, but
which is nerve-wracking.
When he was tweeting at Team Alpha Male when they were watching the fights the one night, and he was walking around fine.
Walking and doing what somebody did to Dominic Cruz is a different level of back fluidity.
I think he'll be fine by then. I really do. I think he'll be fine by then.
I do hope so because I want to. I mean, I've been high on Cody since what he did. Like firmly in the I think this guy's legit camp. Since what he did to Almeida. That fight. In the lead up to his title win, I was like, holy shit. That's when I started going, wow, okay, this guy's legit. I want to see more of that guy. I want to see more of the guy that did whatever the hell sorcery happened against Dominic Cruz. I don't want the fight game to be one and done with that level of performance.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible. And I love the matchup too, because if you could say anything, it's TJ took the baton from Dominic with that sort of weird style and did a little bang Muay Thai action on it. And it's worked for him. So, is Cody going to then be facing, Dominic 2.0? I don't know. Dillashaw did take Dominic far. It was a razor close decision. Who knows? But I hope he comes back healthy. If he comes back healthy, I think he beats our boy.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. But then what do you do after that? Like, that's what I want to know. After that fight,
super fight.
That's what I mean. Like, what's the super fight? It's going to have to be DJ.
It's going to be a fatal
for either one of them.
It's going to be a 3-way match with. It's going to have DJ. It's going to have whoever wins the strap at 135, and then Max Holloway, just as the wild card. You know, you have to tag him in to get him
without the belt.
Yeah, yeah, you know, yeah. At that point, good call. I see what you
already picked the next one we're about to talk about.
I wonder. This one is the one I wanted to, you know, I was up in the air about. But yeah, but it's again, it's for a title that should be more conclusive, but is not. We have Max Holloway versus Frankie Edgar. This card is stacked to the fucking tits. I can't. That's insane. Any one of these could be a main event. With the way the UFC's been going, and now they're stacking them all, you know? I don't know. Are they starting to finally figure out that diluting the product is not the way to get dollars? I don't know.
Yeah, but they got to do stuff like this for their fight nights, too.
Yeah, the free ones to start getting fans. Yeah,
you gotta, you know, maybe even have the low. Like, of course, DJ doesn't really fucking move the needle, but you know, you have like, if you have a
pay-per-view buys, bro. Let's be honest with that. Like a sidetrack. Like,
but you see, what sucks about that is now because these champions they get pay-per-view points. They need to start having something where they get points for, you know, like ratings and stuff like that. That's the only way that you're going to get these like belts onto regular TV because you have to. It's either that or get rid of the fight nights.
But I'm positive that they would if they felt, as a fighter, I'm saying, like from the fighters camp, I'm positive that they would press for those ratings if they felt safe that was a good bet for money. And what I mean by that is this. Like, if you thought that you were enough of a needle mover, you could be okay. Hey, listen, I won't fight on pay-per-view, whatever. We don't got to do all that. Give me a cut of anything above X number of viewers that I bring in. You know, like a cutoff where, okay, that surplus is me. I want a percentage of that, of those advertising dollars that you get in extra based on what I bring to the table. But nobody wants to do that. I don't think they do because the marketing machine isn't what it used to be, bro.
I know.
So as a fighter, would you risk it? As a fighter,
I don't know, man, because it looks like this is going to be the pattern for them, like once a year, because it's an MSG. So this is going to be like the anniversary, like kind of like you said, like the WrestleMania of MMA. So I guess it's the only time we're going to see 4 defended in one shot. But I'm very excited for this fight because, of course, I'm going for Frankie.
Of course.
But what Max did to Aldo was just wow.
That was masterful. That was another guy where it's like, and we've seen him grow up in the ring, man, right?
Yeah, but you know what? Again, it was that. I don't know what it is with Aldo when it gets to these fights, like with Conor. Like, yeah, Conor got in his head, but I don't know if he has it in his mind that he's going to lose or what, because that wasn't the Aldo that we've watched for 10 years. He wasn't looking to counter. He was trying to be the aggressor, and that's not his strong suit. If you look at the Aldo fight with Frankie, the second one, because the first one Aldo lost. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. But the second fight at UFC 200, Aldo stood there, tried to move. Frankie was tagging him. Frankie was trying to take him down. He couldn't get him down. What was Aldo doing the last minute of each and every round? Countering and getting on the judge's side. That's how he won those rounds. That's the Jose Aldo. He was stealing the rounds, but he was doing it every single round. Yeah. That's what he was doing. For 5 rounds, that's what he did. So that was the Aldo that we're used to seeing. Against Max, and against Conor was two different Aldos. He went against his game plan, and it didn't work for him. So you look at Max at what he did to Aldo. You think, wow, this guy's the next big thing. But he's going against Frankie.
Yeah.
The guy who can hit takedowns and get in and out. I know Max is tall. That kind of works to Frankie's advantage, though.
Yeah, because he's got already the built-in leverage against the taller guy. He's lower to the ground. His hips are lower. I don't see. I think it's a bad matchup for Max. I do. I just do. I think if there's anybody that is gonna put it on him in this iteration of Max Holloway, of this evolution of Max Holloway, it's gonna be a guy like Frankie Edgar. And part of it is, not gonna lie to you, and you're not gonna be mad at it. Part of it is Frankie's due. I want this guy to get UFC gold again. He's been putting in the work. He's relentless. He's had obstacles. He's come back from adversity. He's been the company man. He's been the non-company man. I want him to do it. Mike from out in Hawaii is going to be like, I hate you guys. But, this is going to be a situation where I think Frankie's going to take it. But then what happens after?
At a 45 division, it's even worth it. Right? You just have that fight with Cub.
Oh, my Lord, yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know what? That's the closest Frankie will ever get to Conor. So,
like Artem, somebody, like something, man. I mean, Korean Zombie. What do you do, man? That division.
I always wanted to see Frankie against the Korean Zombie. Even when a Korean Zombie was at 155. Always wanted to see that fight.
That fight's tremendous.
But you know what, though? I'm afraid Korean Zombie kind of his better years fighting in the Army. I don't think he's going to be as polarizing as he was.
I think he gave South Korea like his prime. I think he gave the country, like, he was out there fucking shooting down nuclear missiles with his fist. Kim Jong-un fucking at bay. And see, notice, I don't think it's a coincidence, Tommy. Korean Zombie leaves active service, comes back to fighting. North Korea starts getting mouthy again. Do you think those are two unrelated things?
No, I think you're right. We either got to send the Zombie back there or send Dennis Rodman out there to cool some shit.
Oh my God, I love how Dennis Rodman has become one of our key diplomatic assets in a hotbed region of the fucking world. What world are we living in?
Well, what do you mean? J. Edgar Hoover liked to dress up in women's clothing, and so does Dennis Rodman.
But he didn't go so far as to marry himself. All right?
Okay, that's a good point.
Okay. Never fuck with Madonna either. That'll ruin men's careers, a.k.a. Guy Ritchie. That's all I'm going to say. All right? Some of that stink still is in him, so he can only do 2 good movies, and then he pumps out a shitty movie when he starts thinking about his time with Madge. Okay? So it's like he'll come in with the Sherlock Holmes, he'll drop a couple of gems, and then he'll give us fucking King Arthur. You know what I mean? Or Rock and Roller, for God's sakes. Oh. So...
But yeah, so just like you said, and you know what? It doesn't matter who wins this fight. Yeah, totally. Who's up for either one of them? I mean, think of it this way: since Frankie dropped to 145, he's been number 1 and number 2 the entire time. Nobody's knocked him off.
No. So then, what the fuck is you're gonna have like number 1 contender matches, and then Frankie's just gonna pick him off? I hope he does, because I hope he gets paid. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so I think it's just going to be a good fight. I really do. Max is a tough kid. Yeah. Like, he's unbelievably tough.
He's good, he's getting better. He's one of those guys that I think we haven't seen him stop improving. So even also
I just wonder whose jiu-jitsu is better. That's what I wonder.
I give it to Frankie. I do, but because of the comment, like I know you said jiu-jitsu, but I don't think. I think there's two sets of DNA in Frankie. Obviously, his mom and his dad don't fucking make that joke, but I think there's two sets of DNA in his grappling. You can't extract the wrestling from the jiu-jitsu, and I think that combination makes him a better grappler. I just, even submission-wise, this. Wrestler.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. You're definitely right. But I think that's what that fight is going to have to come down to, because I don't think it would be smart for Frankie to stay and trade with Max just because of how much taller Max isn't an oaf like fucking what the hell is his name at 55 that
Gray Maynard. Yeah, the bully.
You know what I mean? Yeah, he's not just that good. Oaf. He's not. Max can scrap.
Max can scrap, but you know what the X factor? You know what the X factor is? Like, and I know that a Yair Rodriguez is not exactly on the same caliber as a Max Holloway. I would never say that. I would never intimate it. But the Frankie that did the punishment to Yair. Okay. So I see Frankie, not maybe exchanging once or twice to kind of like set up angles and set up shots, right? Good. Once he gets him to the ground, I don't think he's going to be Frankie that just kind of maintains position, this, that, and the third. I think he's going to try to fucking wrap his arm around in a gift wrap position and try to knock his teeth out. And that's the Frankie Edgar that I think this country deserves, and it's the hero we need, sir. It's the hero we fucking need in the 145 pound division. Because that Frankie Edgar also beats the shit out of Conor McGregor. I don't give a fuck what you have to say. With that skill set and that urgency to finish, as well as the gas tank. Okay, it's not the Mendez fight, because the Mendez was putting it on him until he gassed. It was a late replacement. I get it. But a Frankie that does that, I think Frankie beats Aldo now, too. No, you know what it is? I know everybody says Aldo was hard to take down, but he was able to take him down. Yeah. The second fight, Frankie not take him. It was weird. Mm-hmm. Like Frankie couldn't get a hold of his leg. He couldn't even get a trip on him. Aldo was just shucking him off. Vaseline.
Yeah. No, I just think that's the true Jose Aldo. You know what I mean? Like when you heard that Jose was fighting Conor, you can't tell me any part of your fucking head said Conor McGregor was going to beat him, not just in 13 seconds. I'm talking about beating him at all. You can't.
I would see some part beating him with that sort of lucky punch. That's the only thing I could see. And you know why? Because of what happened with Poirier. That's honestly that's but I still had it at like 80-20, 90-10 Aldo. I really did. But the lucky punch was the only thing I saw. And no way, I'm never going to even come close to trying to claim that I saw it happen within 20 seconds of the opening bell. That's chicanery. If I had, I'd be driving a fucking Porsche right now, because I should have put the bet down, and I'd be driving, a big body Benz or some shit. So
that's what that fight was. Aldo was going to go back to his old roots and fucking leg kick Conor to death. That's what I thought was going to happen in that fight.
And that would have been tremendous, and that would have worked. Ask Uriah Faber. That took like a couple of years off Uriah's career, and he had a long career after that. But you can't tell me that's not something that when he's 50, he's going to get up and be like, oh fuck, man, I remember that fight. He's going to get out of bed and be like, shit. Creaking like old wood.
I wouldn't have wanted to be Uriah Faber the next morning.
Dude, that was...
Trying to get out of bed. Mm-hmm. That hoping that Jose Aldo did against Conor. I was hoping that he was just going to fucking leg kick and then set up like for a head kick. That's what I was hoping happened. Of course, didn't fucking go that way, but that's what I was hoping happened.
You wanted Aldo to give him the old bedpan. the old bedpan treatment. Like, yo, you're getting out of bed today. You're gonna have to shit in this pail. You're gonna have to pee blood.
You're gonna have to shit on that. You're gonna have to shit on that moss-covered rock that you're sleeping next to.
Oh, that's terrible. I can't, man. Ireland's a good country. Girls from there, you can't.
Yeah, it is, but he's got a fucking beard and he's ginge and he's Irish.
so it's the kiss of
fucking death. He looks like the fucking Notre Dame guy.
And you know what? And not for nothing, they're using it for the marketing. So I can't even get mad at that, honestly. You know, the 49.
I'm just kidding. Our Irish fans don't get all fucking. Don't get all bitchy. It's just a joke.
I want to go visit. I can't wait. I do.
Me too.
It's a family trip. You should. Yeah, but you can't show your face. Yeah. That's the only thing. You're gonna be like Chael in Brazil. You know.
I'll have to settle for the Irish pubs around here then.
Oh God, yeah. I'm telling you, it's certainly enough. On the East Coast, you go to the city, you throw a rock, you hit 14 of them.
If it makes me feel any better, I used to bounce at one.
Well, what? So then, is that where you develop your hatred for Irish people? Like, the people would come in.
Yeah, working there on St. Patrick's Day. Yes.
That'll probably do it, man. Yeah. Good Lord. Savage. So I think that was the four championship outs, right? I think, and we're still up in the air with who's going to be number 5. You know, or unless they do some crazy bullshit and put one of them on Fight Pass or some ridiculousness. You never know.
What to do is, so if they should probably just set the whole thing up with champions and fucking have Cyborg fight Dana White to open
weight, an open weight bout, because I don't know if Uncle Dane is getting down to 145. He'll have to chop off both his legs every dual organ that he has in his body.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do it with four championship fights, you might as well do it with 5.
It's kind of it doesn't make any sense.
You might as well just have that entire main card, just all championship fights.
It's like having a weird earring and then not using a weird scarf. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you're already there.
Well, because would you want to be the fucking curtain jerker for that? Like, oh, everybody's here to see these 4 fights, and I'm just Joe Jerkoff that just gets the fight on the main card. I would probably want to fight on the FS1, or if it's on FXX. You know what I mean? I'd probably want to be on that.
First off, a side note, there should never be anything ever again on FXXX. Yo, I love UFC. I had a hard time finding it. All right? Stop it. You know what FXX is? You know what it is? It has all
movie
the Simpsons.
Channel.
No, and it also has all the Simpsons episodes.
I know.
All right? Stop it. There's no
That's enough.
That's it. And you know what? You can make a viable network out of that. That's some good intellectual property. The Simpsons are the shit. I get it. But what the fuck are you doing?
There was baseball on FS1. That's why.
Stop it. Who the fuck was playing? Who was playing on FS1?
I don't know, but I know that there was baseball on FS1, and I'm pretty sure the MLB. Pretty sure the MLB gets is worth a lot more than Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Shorten that season first off, but don't get me.
Hey! You leave baseball alone. Leave baseball alone. Yeah, okay. But I would rather be on the undercard than I don't want to have to go fucking be the only non-title fight on a pay-per-view. Come on.
That's tough.
Unless should just make it
getting money from it, but then if you're the curtain jerker, you're not getting points.
Might get a little bump.
Maybe. Yeah. Hey, I get more followers anyway, right? I'll pull the Tony Ferguson.
Yeah. That's why I think. Well, I guess the Tony Ferguson Khabib fight wouldn't be for a belt. I don't know if they're making that for an interim belt.
They will. I guarantee you they will. It's not officially there because I don't think, we have the translation of whatever it says in Russian that Khabib wrote back on the contract. So they're trying.
But you know what? But you're kind of right, because you know what? It would have to be, because it's pretty much going on a year that the championship belt hasn't been defended, and it's in limbo if it's coming back. Probably going, like you said, it's probably going to be for an interim. There's 4 fucking fights that are for belts, one that's not going to be. So have one of the women on there.
Yeah.
Let them fucking jerk the curtain.
You know, oh, hey, sir.
Not meaning it that way.
Sir.
Not meaning it that way.
We're here to empower women, sir. I feel triggered. You know what? You know who they should really throw a bone to? And this won't be misogynist at all because she's not into bones in the least. Tanya Avenger. She should get a turnaround and be displayed against somebody at least in her own gender this time around.
Let's not be disparaging. Let's not be disparaging against the one, but we're going to be disparaging against the other one. Okay.
You're going to catch the heat for it.
I see where you're going with that.
You're going to catch the heat for it anyway. I have that thing of like,
yeah, but who are you going to have Avenger fight? You're going to have her fight for another belt? Who's
no,
she gonna
have her fight somebody at 135 at least this time around.
On FS1. On FS1.
No.
This main card should be nothing but champion.
So then what? You have Joanna on a quick turnaround coming back? Cyborg is the only one who makes sense.
Champions.
So Cyborg then, no?
Yeah. So, I don't know. Avenger again, because at least that was an interesting fight.
That's terrible. That's terrible. I mean,
she did well.
She really did well. And you know what? And I want to commend you for not bringing up how she looked this entire time that we discussed. I want to. You're a gentleman and a scholar, Tommy. You're good people.
In the bait.
Yeah, no, you're not gonna take the bait. I like it.
You're not mom-botting me into this. Oops, I did it already. Oops.
Yeah. See, it slips off the tongue because it's so accurate. Sweet Christ. Toughest mom I've ever seen, though. I'll tell you that. It's counting my mom.
No, I mean that's good, and it's not you know what I mean, and it's not a championship, but the next 4 are. That's tough.
Yeah. It is tough, but again,
because if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna do it, it's got to be somebody who's gonna draw money. So, do you do Chris Weidman again?
That'd be cool.
MSG.
Do have him fight the ref that fucked him over against the Dreamcatcher. Let's just have a fucking spectacle,
Do you do him and Yoel Romero? Do you do him and Romero again at MSG?
Oh boy. I mean, I don't see what happens with that fight. I don't want to see that fight. I don't want. You know what I want to see have happen right now? I want to see Chris fight for a belt. Forget it. That's it. That's all I want to see.
He's because it's gotta go. Whatever happens with this fucking Bisping GSP, it's what the fuck's his name?
GSP Bisping Rockhold.
He's the interim champ.
Oh goodness, Michael Bisping! For God's sakes, fuck him. Fuck him up and down.
Well, no, Whitaker is really the next one in line.
That's true. I forgot about fucking Whitaker. I don't.
It's out here, but
I don't know.
I don't see Bisping or GSP defending that belt after this fight. I don't see that.
No.
So.
Not that quick.
It's rightfully his spot. He's got the interim belt.
So then have him face.
So it's rightfully his.
Have him face what? Rockhold? No, Rockhold's got a dance partner, I think.
Rockhold's be fighting David Branch. Rockhold's be getting tapped out by David Branch.
That's very, very likely to happen. I could really see it. I don't think Demi Lovato did something to Luke Rockhold's fighting ability. I want to say, or like fighting Moxie. I think he just
Bellator guy. So now he's all out of sorts.
Yeah, he's just all pissed. He's like, but I'll be excited to see who they pick though, and I just want to see I want to see the card get to the date intact. That's all.
Yes, in its entirety.
Yeah, whoever they put on that fifth card, that's all I want to say. So I think that's pretty much it with us this week for the Vodcast Modcast. So
it's just the laid back version of the video cast.
Exactly. We're winding it down. It's kind of after dark, but be sure to tune in on Monday. We're gonna be back to our regular time at 8:30. We were a little late. We've been a little bit. Yeah, you and me both, brother. We're we're civilians. We have day jobs. It sucks getting that late. So and I still try to get the I almost walked into a bad one there. I still try to get the show up after the show. So, I stick around to make sure that happens, and that's a long evening. So we'll be back 8:30. And be sure to like us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. We're everywhere that you can find anything of importance on the internet. We're there. We're at your YouTube channel. A big thank you to Madama Jiu-Jitsu, Black Hole Jiu-Jitsu, as well as 80K Fightwear. And a definite big thanks to you, Mr. Tommy D. It's always a pleasure.
Yes, this is fun. Absolutely. Can't wait till next week.
Yep. We'll see you guys next week. All right. Have a good evening.
Later.